Well, I just picked up Shorty from Wholesale Automatics. 3,800 kilometres to drive to get her back to the southwest of Western Australia. I've currently done a grand total of 5. Get me out of the city! I fucking hate city driving. You're all crazy in the city. You're all crazy. Village. It's just up the road from Jumper Town. I'm here all week.
The best day of all is gonna be, it's gonna be, it's gonna be the best day of all. It's gonna be, it's gonna be.
Have a look at that paddock out there. I think because I grew up and worked in farming communities, I just love seeing those old paddocks and the silos there coming up into shot now. I got another hour of driving. I'm going to get stuck into it. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Just crossed the Mexican border. Out of Victoria into South Australia. Let's see what you got, SA. Bring it on. Alrighty, it's just gone 5 AM. Pulled up last night for a quick kip. We've got about 900 k's today, 882 to be precise. And I've just got myself, where is it? What have I done with your breakfast? Ew! A bacon and egg roll. Heat it up in the microwave. I'm on the Nullarbor. Let's do this.
We've gotta keep this dream alive. We've gotta keep this dream alive.
Sunrise on the Nullarbor. Well, not quite the Nullarbor, but sunrise nonetheless. Beautiful. And cold.
You and me, we were gonna be the heroes of our lifetime.
There's a train stopped across the highway. Yep. I just hope it moves soon. I guess we'll just wait. Oh, there it goes. Starting to move. Hey.
Light in the night sky. You and me, we find all the stars.
I just stopped for a pee break when I realised that behind me on this side is the bloody ocean over there. That's kind of cool. South Australia. I've just stopped for 5 and pulled off the side of the road here, and something about the Nullarbor that people don't talk about too much, and that is the silence. Just how absolutely peaceful it is out here when there's not trucks and cars thundering up and down the air highway at 110, 120 kilometres an hour. But when you just get beside the road, Nullabor's just over there behind me. Nullabor's just, where am I? Nullabor's just there. When you actually pull off the side of the road and just take 5, you'll be blown away by how utterly peaceful it is out here. Had to stop here to show you what really for me represents the Nullarbor. Of course, Nullarbor, you all know what it means. Null, nothing, and arbor, trees. Nullarbor, no trees. For the most part, that eastern bit up there, well, that's got a lot of trees. And as I get further west, tomorrow, well, gets really thickly wooded with those beautiful salmon gums that I like so much. But this section right here, almost smack dab in the middle, I'll give you a bit of a look as I turn around. Look at that. No. There ain't a tree to be seen as far as the eye can see. Check this dude out. Now that is key, man. Doing it on a bicycle. Nah, give me a TD42 any day. Yeah. Just heading off the air highway now and going north out to a place called Cunalda Homestead. It's been abandoned quite some time now, late 80s, but apparently it's open. You can camp out there, and it's just kind of been left as it was when the pastoralists left in the late 80s. So thought I might just pop out and have a quick look. It's about 19-20 k's off the air highway heading north over what could best be described as a pretty rough and rugged old goat track, but nothing Shorty can't handle. Alright, let's go and have a look at it and see what it's like. So this right here is the old Cunelda homestead. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Cunelda, I believe it is. It actually was in existence from 1938 right through to 1988, and the only reason it could establish itself out here and prosper was due to such an arid climate, of course, was due to fresh water that they were able to get from a cave just a little bit further north from here. And apparently there's still some old pumping gear in that cave from way back in the day when they used to pump the water out of the cave and put it into troughs for the sheep. Really is a remarkable structure when you consider that it's so arid out here, and yet they were able to somehow make a living. What I love about the actual homestead itself, what's really cool about that is, see, it's made out of railway sleepers. See the railway sleepers through there? The railway sleepers were actually pinched from the Trans-Australia Railway line, which is just a little bit over that way. I'm going to have a bit of a fossick around here. There's all sorts of stuff. There's old cars out here, some really old cars down the back there. I don't know what that is. That must be the old shearing quarters over there. This sort of stuff, off the beaten tracks, what I'm always talking about. Keep your eyes open, keep your ears open in the local pubs, and get an idea for what's not on the tourist route. Because places like this, Cunelda Homestead, it's open, you can wander around. I'm going to go and have a look in there in a minute. This is the sort of stuff that you've got to get out and see as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely stoked. I'm going to go and have a look around. I'd be lying if I said this isn't just a little bit spooky. Here's the old bathroom. Want to have a look? Oh man, it's just a little spooky. Just an incredible spot. There'd have to be, conservatively, there'd have to be well over 100 old cars out here. Which begs the question, how'd they all get here? I mean, 1988 was when this place closed up. Look at them all. 1988 was when this place closed up. 1989, I believe, it became a part of the national park. So, I mean, these vehicles wouldn't have been around all that much. I guess they were just used and abused. Look at them all. Way back from 38 right the way through. Would have been the means of transport once they figured out that they were a bit more reliable than a camel. Maybe though. Have a look at some of these old wrecks. Maybe the old camel was more reliable. Absolutely insane. Now that is what you call a pretty rough and rugged bush dunny. Oh yeah. How good was that? You know, I can't say just how much I enjoy little snippets of the Aussie outback like that. Well worth the detour. Now, heading back out to the main road. I've actually got to put some air in my tyres to let them down, because I did have road pressures on it. It was pretty rough coming up this track. I'm going to pump my tyres up now, about 100 clicks roughly from the WA border. As you can imagine, I'm pretty keen to get there, but there's one more stop I want to make. I'll show you folks something I think is one of the coolest things you'll see on the Nullarbor. No, it's not a hairy-nosed wombat. One more stop. We'll go and do that now. Wait till you see this. I reckon you're going to like it. Okie dokie. This is what I wanted to show you. Let's jump out and have a look at this. I reckon this is what makes the Nullarbor. This little stretch here. Get a load of that. Ew. That is the edge of Australia, quite literally.
Too far gone to say, said it anyway. Now these words forever free. Kept the feeling tamed behind walls you made.
Well, there you go. I'm currently in South Australia. I'm just going to go around this little roundabout here. Still in South Australia. Hang on a second. Oh, the air just got a lot cleaner. Oh, I suddenly feel a whole lot better. On WA soil. Yoo-hoo! All right. I'm in my home state. What a drive. I made it through the quarantine station back there. They're really only interested in fruits and vegetables, but one of the big things they're really cracked down on is honey. You simply can't bring honey into WA. Got something to do with our bees. They don't have any of those diseases they've got on the east coast, and so WA honey supposedly some of the best in the world. I don't know, not really an expert on it, but that's one of the things they really pull you up on is honey at the station there. Many moons ago, I was going back this way after a Simpson Desert crossing with old Shorty, and it was covered in mud, and I didn't realise just what a no-no that was. So they made me pull over to the side, and I actually had to wash Shorty completely down. I had to get every last skerrick of mud off on the South Australia side before I was allowed to cross over to the Western Australia side. That's so I didn't bring any noxious weeds and plants in, because if you've never been to WA, WA is just, well, it does have a lot of feral type things in it, but it's nowhere near as bad as the East Coast. We don't have that same feral weed and pest problem that the East Coast does. And so they really do all they can to try and, well, just bring the risk down a lot. I think it's pretty cool. I always like going through the quarantine station. For me now, I reckon I'm going to rack up another couple of 100k. No, maybe another 100k. I've got a cool campsite at the pass at MADURA. I might stay there tonight, or I might push on. I'll see how I feel. Because of course, going west, I've just gained 3 hours of time, 2.5 hours of time. So although I've been driving now for the better part of 10 hours, I've just gone back in time. So that kind of sucks, because you get a bit knackered, but you can't pull up because it's only 3:30, too early. So I'm going to push on for another hour or so. I don't like driving tired, so I'll push on and that'll do me. We'll find a camp for the night and cook a bit of tea. But, yeah boy, back on WA soil.
Best day of all.
That right there, of course, well, that's Shorty, but behind it, that's the remains of the old Eucla jetty. It's hard to believe that this used to be a thriving port back in the day. And now, well, it'd be perfect if it wasn't for the crowds. Look at that. I got the place to myself, all the way down there too. I'm thinking I might jump in Shorty and go for a blat down there and see what I can find. Well, this right here, of course, is the remains of the old telegraph station here at Eucla. You know, when we think of telegraph stations, we instantly, as four-wheel drivers, I guess, our mind wanders directly to Cape York, because, of course, the OTT, the old telegraph track that heads up towards the top, that's why the track's there. But what people don't realise, I think, a lot of the time, is that those telegraph lines went from all corners of Australia and they all linked up. Of course, this one here would link to through the Bilbunya Dunes and out through to Israelite Bay and Esperance, etc., etc., and then up through the Guts Alice Springs, right up the way to the top. And this would have been one of the more central stations here. As you can see, nature is doing a very good job of reclaiming it. The sand dunes have just about nailed this one, which is a good thing because, well, to be honest, I'll show you something. Australians just don't give a shit about their old history. Let me show you something that makes me a bit sick. I just don't get it. I don't get what sort of dickhead would think that that is a good idea. It's a piece of Australian history, for goodness sake. Now, I love art. I'm a photographer, big art lover. I get it. Graffiti is art. I get it. But come on, just wake up. This is not a city street. This is not your backyard. This is a piece of Australian history. For God's sake, whoever did this, I don't know. I don't hold out much hope. Just don't. Makes me sick. I'm going to see if it can be rubbed off. I don't know. I'm going to talk to people up the top there and see what they think, but yeah, I don't have much to say about that. I'm just going to try and adjust the screen here for a second. Bear with me. Yeah, there you go. See that ridge line there? Following along the side of it now, and in a minute I'm going to go up and we're going to drive up on top of it. It's called the MADURA Pass. It actually takes you up over the top of that cliff line, but what that cliff line right there actually is a continuation of where I parked just a while back and gave you a look at the coast, smashing up against the waves in the ocean, smashing up against the side of that. Now I've parked on the side of the road here before and I've found old shell fragments. I'm putting two and two together here, and I reckon that there was of course the coastline millions of years ago. Waves have been crashing up against that. Now it's receded right back, but that is actually a continuation of that cliff line that I parked at, and I've been following it the whole way for more than an hour. Oh, here's that cyclist from yesterday. No, it's not, it's a couple more cyclists. You'll just get a look at them. Crazy buggers, they're loving it. So I reckon that cliff line, yeah, would have been the edge of the coast. Oh, you know, a few million years ago. That's my guess anyway. It's a good thing it's not though, because geez, I'd need a bigger snorkel than I've currently got. Righto, here we go, the 90 mile straight. 90 miles, 146.6 kilometres with not one turn on it. If you've never done it, I don't know if I don't know if I suggest you do. It's pretty darn boring. All right, and the flyers are fantastic. 90 miles, but just down here is something I want to show you also. We're going to pull up just down the road a bit further, but the thing is that it's a plane going to land. I'm going to get stuck into it. 146.6 kilometres without one turn of the steering wheel. I'm going to put my feet on the dash and relax. Catch you in a bit. So this weird bit of kit right here is the Cahill blowhole, and although you can't really see it or even hear it on camera here, but it's actually breathing. It's a link to an underground cave, obviously, and air pressure changes actually make air rush in and out of here. And to stand here, it's quite bizarre because you can actually feel air, cool air. You can hear it coming out of there now. Cool air gets blown out, and then of course it changes air pressure, and air gets sucked back down the hole. I've been here before where it's coming out at such a rate of knots. There's a road train going past, apologies for that. I've been here before where it's coming out at such a rate of knots that it can actually blow your hat off. And today it's not really working too well at all. But yeah, the Cahill blowhole, if you ever get a chance, it's just down there. I suggest you stop in and have a bit of a look at it. It's one of those weird things that's a middle of nowhere. I call it the Earth Nostril. Alright, the road that I'm on right now, this dirt road, it's called the Hayden to Norseman Road, or the Hayden Norseman Road. For good reason too, it goes through to the tiny little town of Hayden. You might have heard of that, it's where that big rock formation, Wave Rock, is. Now, about 99 k's down this road, a place called Lake Johnston, and I reckon it's got to be one of the best campsites you'll ever see. I'll give you a look when I get there, but of course I don't think this little camera is really going to do it justice, but we'll see how we go. I'm going to set up camp there for the night, get back on the road first thing tomorrow. Wind. I've just got into Lake Johnston campsite. I've set old Shorty up there and she's ready to rock and roll, but you can't see it, but it's freezing cold. The wind's just come in and it's starting to rain. kind of not what I wanted for tonight, to be honest with you. Oh, it's just bitter. So I'm going to grab a beer out of the fridge, and I'm going to hunker down underneath the old awning there, and I'll see if this thing passes. But I'll give you a bit of a look. What a campsite. I'm actually elevated here. You can't quite see it, but I'm actually elevated above the lake with a heck of a view. It's just sensational. Lake Johnson, I just hope that it sort of blows over. I think it's going to blow over and clears up and gives me won't give me a clear sky, but maybe it'll stop being so bloody cold. We'll see how we go. Alright, that storm, or that little squally bit that we just had has just passed. I'm just going for a walk out onto Lake Johnson here. Check this out. Just a massive salt lake. Growing up in Norseman, which is only 99 k's back that way, of course, we used to come out to the salt lakes to play a lot, so I've always had a bit of a thing for salt lakes. I love them. Got to respect them, of course, because you can get bogged on them pretty darn quickly if you're stupid enough to drive on them. Yeah, I've been that guy, but just sensational. I have a feeling I might even get a sunset tonight. We'll have to wait and see, but just love exploring these places. Look at that, eh? How good is it? And I've got it all to myself.
In the moonlight, in the night sky, you and me, we find all the stars together.
Well, the weather is absolutely shitful, but there's quite a few positives that I can point out. First of which, I found my older Cobra. She was in the back of Shorty. Look at it. She's a bit weathered, but I'm going to wear it. It's raining and it's cold and it's unpleasant, but a couple of things I wanted to show. Older Cobra been found, and check out this sunset over here. Good morning. I slept exceptionally well last night. Given the fact that there was a gale force wind coming through, and at times I thought the old rooftop tent was going to take off, I slept like a hibernating bear last night, really, really well. So today, I got about 200 k's of gravel to get me down to Hyden. Hey, listen, whilst I'm speaking of that, if you ever get a chance and you're over this part of the way, I really recommend this drive, the Hyden Norseman Road, through the woodlands through here. It's just a spectacular drive, and not too many people do it. It's got some brilliant campsites on it. Lake Johnson back there, of course, that was one of them, but put in your head the granites. It's another really, really good campsite. It's off to the right-hand side in amongst some massive granite boulders. Really, really cool campsite. So if you ever get a chance, yeah, give this road a go. Cracking bit of real estate, as I like to say. So today, get through to Hyden, and then I think, this is the home stretch for me. I'm just about done. I think from Hyden, I'm just going to keep on trucking until I get home. Stopping only really for fuel. It'll take me through the wheat belt and then on into the Great Southern. And from there I'll start to head towards the coast in the deep south of WA, which is my home. I'll give you a bit of a look along the way, of course, but I think for me, this is it, home stretch. I'm going to just fix the eyes ahead and keep on trucking. That stretch of track you can see disappearing up behind my head there is the famous Holland track. It goes from, Hyden, essentially. Actually does go from way further south, but, it's got bitten on the toe by a meat ant. Yeah, get it warts and all here, folks. The Holland track runs from further down south all the way through to Coolgardie, but the track that's the most interesting as far as I'm concerned, because it doesn't go through farmland, etc., like it does down south, is from here on the Hyden Norseman Road, which is where I'm standing right now, right the way back that way to Coolgardie. So if you ever get the chance, honestly, the Holland track, I reckon, having now driven so many tracks around Australia, is up there with some of the very, very best that I've driven. You don't need a massive four-wheel drive to do it. You don't need any real experience to do it. It is in some very, very remote areas, so you do need to be well equipped, but it is a cracking track with beautiful campsites, plenty of firewood out there, and at this conditions like this, when it's not too hot out here, it is sublime. If you ever get the chance, come and have a crack at the Holland track. That bad boy, right there. You're going to love it. Ooh. As for me, though, I've got to keep going that way, which is toward Hyden, and I reckon I'm going to get myself a bacon and egg roll for breakfast. Yoo-hoo! that right there, it's a pretty iconic bit of WA history. That, of course, is the state barrier fence, or what we sort of know it better as over here as the rabbit-proof fence. You see, in 1859, 24 rabbits, I'll say that again, 24 rabbits were introduced to Victoria by keen shooters so that they could hunt them. 24 rabbits. Now, by 1901, they had bred so successfully and travelled so far that the West Australian government decreed that they had to do something about it before the rabbits advanced into agricultural lands to the south of here and did a whole heap of damage. And so what they did was construct, they constructed the world's longest fence. 3,237 kilometres. I'll say that again. 3,237 kilometres of fence was built to keep rabbits out of crops in Western Australia, and it stands to this day as being the world's longest fence. The rabbit-proof fence, it stretches all the way back there, and as far as the eye can see down there, there's gates every 32 miles apart or 20 k's apart thereabouts, so you can get through it. You're not actually allowed to travel along it, which is a bit of a pity, because I reckon that would be an absolutely cracking trip to do. But if you ever get a chance, once again, I've said that a lot, WA has a lot of stuff to see. Come here and check out the world's longest fence. There it is, a barrier fence. 3,237 kilometres, all because of 24 rabbits. Who would have thought?
Hey, Tobago, you got one coming towards you, man. There, you might get a fire ride. We don't get fire for thinking.
Well, there you go. 3,882 kilometres, Melbourne to the southwest of Western Australia. I'm going to give you a few fuel figures and things like that, because I find it quite interesting, and maybe you will too. For an old truck, this is what I got. Of those 3,882 kilometres, I averaged 104 kilometres per hour over the entire journey. I used 13.1 litres of diesel per 100 kilometres travelled. That's pretty bloody good if you ask me. Engine temps did not get over 85 degrees, and that was despite a headwind. And EGTs, not once did EGTs go over 400 degrees post-turbo. Pretty good when you consider this old battle axe has been around the block more than once. Now, been asked a lot of questions on social media about Shorty. I'm going to try and answer 3 of them now for you. What's going to happen with Shorty? Well, in the short term, not much. There's a few cosmetic things I've got to do to her, like fix up those panels on the side from where I rolled her over. I've got to get those fixed up. I want to make it look a bit flasher again. A few things internally I want to do just to make it a bit easier to camp out of, and a few engine things I want to do as well. So that's the short term. I'm just going to work on Shorty and take her away on the odd trip in the southwest of Western Australia. Secondary to that, am I going to sell Shorty? Absolutely not. I did say before that if someone offered me stupid money, well, you'd be crazy not to, but no sane person is going to offer me that stupid money, so no, I'm not going to sell Shorty. In fact, there are too many memories associated with that old battle axe there for me to ever think about selling it. So no, Shorty is not going up for sale. It'll stay with me pretty much forever. I can guarantee you that. And the third question is, will we ever see Shorty on a TV screen again? Now look, I have no details about that. I can't say yes in 2018 on the 5th of May. No, I don't know. But my gut instinct says 99% sure that you will definitely see Shorty again on a TV screen somewhere. She's got a lot of life left in her, and I reckon it'd be a crying shame not to get her back out there and in front of an audience, because she loves it. What she does best, actually. She's far better at it than I am. Another interesting stat for you, or another interesting fact for you, these 2 trucks here, this is only the 2nd time ever they've been parked together. 2nd time ever. So I'm going to let these 2 get to know each other, and I'm going to go and have a well-earned beer.
It's gonna be the best day of our lives.